is CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Naja Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories, and we begin with breaking news. A shooting in Miami Gardens. Police are searching for a man they say shot his elderly mother-in-law. Chopper 4 over the scene. This is at Northwest 44th Avenue and Northwest 203rd Terrace. No word yet on the victim's condition. We're going to have reaction from the neighborhood coming up at 5. Now to a disturbing discovery inside a Miami insurance office. That's where the bodies of a man and a woman were found. Chopper 4 over the scene of Del Toro Insurance Office building. This is on Northwest 27th Avenue. Miami police say it appears to be a murder-suicide. Officials say the man shot the woman before turning the gun on himself.
It appears to be a murder-suicide at this moment. Again, we don't know the relationship between these individuals. It's a very active case. Our detectives are still working this case. What I can tell you is that we are not looking for anybody, so the community is not in danger. We are not looking for a shooter. It appears to be an isolated incident, and it's just, very horrific and unfortunate. Anytime we have anything, any type of crime or any type of incident, the community's help is always, is always welcome. Maybe they can provide us with some information to help our detectives put this the puzzle together.
It is unclear if the victim or the shooter worked in the building. Police say it's an isolated incident. We're going to have more on this developing story tonight at 5. And we are getting new video of the moments the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office says the deputy was forced to shoot a man in Southwest Miami-Dade. It was after a domestic violence call. CBS News Miami's Morgan Reiner has the latest from the neighborhood, and we want to warn you the video is disturbing to watch.
Ulashisi heard people talking outside of his Southwest Miami-Dade home.
Suddenly I heard the shots. I took my defensive bar, so I laid down again and ran into inside.
This is what he was running from. Surveillance video captures the moment a deputy walks up to a man in the white SUV. You can hear the deputy say, "Get out of the car, and do you have any guns on you?" The suspect says yes. Then you hear shouting, followed by a handful of gunshots. We are pausing the video so you don't see the suspect get shot. But the audio will play out, and you will hear more gunfire, followed by the deputy telling the suspect not to touch the gun again. Sheriff Rosie Cordero-Stutz said it's a 911 call to dispatchers that was made by the suspect's wife that sent deputies to their house in the first place.
She called 911 and unfortunately was caught up in this physical altercation, so she couldn't talk on the 911, but our call taker was able to hear what was going on. Based on what was heard, the deputies were dispatched. She did tell the dispatcher that there were weapons, that he was armed. So our deputies arrived on the scene knowing that there were weapons involved.
First responders took the husband to a nearby hospital where he died. Cordero-Stutz said the deputy was not injured.
I would really like to say that if you are an individual who is in crisis and with a domestic violence situation, call 911. Please let us come to help you. That is our job.
On your screen, you will see resources to call, the state and national hotlines, as well as a number to text if you can't call.
And that was Morgan Reiner reporting.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
A gorgeous day across South Florida. Next Weather Chief Meteorologist Ivan Cabrera joins us now.
All right, thanks a lot. Yeah, and it absolutely is to start off a work week. Not bad at all. Let's open the window and check in on conditions. Mostly sunny skies. Just fair with the clouds out there. It really hasn't amounted to much, and we're not expecting anything like, any significant rain. In fact, the rain chances are minuscule heading into the next 7 days, but there are a few chances to get a couple of showers there. As we take a look at the cloud cover, that's just been rolling in from the east. We've got that southeasterly wind, and that's bringing us an onshore flow, and eventually we'll get a couple of showers out of it. But as I see it right now, that's going to take a while to happen. In fact, we have a front before that happens that's going to be coming in here and giving us about a 10% chance of a shower, I think, for Thursday. It's interesting, the front itself, technically a cold front, it's really not going to bring us colder temperatures, but it will just drop humidity even more so as we head through the middle part of the week, with those slight rain chances returning into the weekend as well. In fact, a couple of showers possible for Easter Sunday. I don't think it's it's going to be a big deal. We do turn rather windy. I think that'll be the big story as well by Thursday, Friday. We're going to have some gusts, probably 25, 30 miles an hour. In the meantime, for any weather system to get through here, it has to get through this high, and the high's not budging until we get to Wednesday, Thursday. It'll push out to the east, and it's this boundary you see here. That's the front that's generating some rainfall here, but the atmosphere here in South Florida is so dry that by the time that front gets here, it's just not going to be able to do much in the way of rainfall. Gorgeous evening. Take advantage of it. Temperatures in the 70s, clear skies, and we've got the humidity on our in our favor here as it continues rather low. Next weather rain tracker, I'll put it into motion here, but it really isn't going to amount to much. At times it looks like it's stuck. It's not. Just a flow coming out of the north, and that will set us up for some cool mornings the next couple of mornings. Then a boundary comes in on Thursday, and that's the one that'll give us a slight chance of a shower. But really, the focus of the weather this week across the eastern U.S. is going to be across the south, Dallas, and points to the northeast. For us, this is the rain accumulation for the next 7 days. So again, trace amounts of rainfall, that would be it, and a steady drop in humidity that's going to kind of hang out with us really through the end of the week. There are the temperatures. A little bit of a dip, right? So I think we get to the highest temp this week, 86. That's ahead of that front, and then we fall back a little bit, but again, not really much of a cold front. Even overnight temperatures, what's interesting is with that north wind now, we're actually going to be cooler ahead of the front because we're going to turn easterly. That wind off the water, that'll moderate temperatures immediately as soon as the front comes in, so it doesn't have a chance to bring us any cooler weather. But we're not complaining because it's fantastic out there for the rest of the evening. Your next weather 7-day forecast will feature a lot of sunshine, slight rain chance, emphasis on slight for Thursday as the front comes through. And then it's a southeast wind that'll continue to kind of move some moisture in our direction. That would result on Easter Sunday to about a 10% chance of rain. But again, no big deal. Looks perfect for the next 7 days.
Ivan, thank you. Tri-Rail service is running once again. It's after a small plane crashed onto the tracks in Boca, killing 3 people on board. Crews worked over the weekend to clear the debris. This is near 95 and Glades Road. We now know the names of the 3 people who died. Officials say 81-year-old Robert Stark, 54-year-old Stephen Stark, and 17-year-old Brooke Stark were on that plane. President Trump met with the president of El Salvador at the White House today. El Salvador has taken up immigrants at the Trump administration claims are criminals. It's all part of their crackdown on immigration. CBS News Miami's Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
President Trump is meeting with El Salvador's president at the White House to discuss immigration.
I think he's doing a fantastic job and he's taking care of a lot of problems that we have.
It comes as the president's trade policy continues to unfold, with new questions about the tariff on some popular electronics from China, like iPhones. Administration officials say those goods are excluded from the 125% import tariff, but still subject to an earlier 20% tariff related to fentanyl. U.S. Trade Representative Jamison Greer says those tech items will also be considered for separate national security-related tariffs with the goal of boosting manufacturing of semiconductors in the U.S.
It's shifting from one bucket of tariffs to a different bucket of potential tariffs.
You have to have a certain flexibility.
Small businesses in the U.S. are pleading for flexibility as they face the full 145% tariff on imports from China.
Small businesses like mine are marginalized and left to bear the burden of this and to see our families suffer.
Ralph Bradley is the owner of a Texas-based company that imports lighting equipment for items including trailers, RVs, and farm equipment. His father started a joint venture in the early 90s with a family-owned company in China that makes the products.
We have a great relationship with them and are scared about not just our business being in detriment, but what happens to their business and their families.
Trump administration officials say negotiations with China will happen between Presidents Trump and Xi, but so far talks have not been scheduled. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
When we come back, Gayle King goes to space. CBS Mornings host turned astronaut Gayle King has been to space and back. She was part of the first all-female crew aboard Blue Origin's new Shepard rocket for today's historic flight. CBS News Miami's Karen Waugh is near the launch site in southern Texas.
1, 2, 3, take us space! Woo!
This was the view inside Blue Origin's space capsule when an all-female crew took flight Monday morning. It was the journey of a lifetime for this lucky half dozen, including CBS Mornings co-host Gayle King and singer Katy Perry. Journalist and pilot Lauren Sanchez organized the group after pitching the all-women flight to fiancé and Amazon and Blue Origin founder Jeff Bezos.
I can't wait to hear how it's changed you.
Gayle's emotions were written on her face as she rang the bell heading into the capsule. But the self-admitted nervous flyer surprised herself.
I can't stress enough, guys, how terrified I was. But I can't, it was so calming to me. And it was so peaceful.
They are floating, they are weightless.
The 10-minute flight allowed this crew to collect data for future flights and gain a new perspective on Earth.
Just protect this planet we're on. I mean, this is the only one we've got.
The crew also included a film producer, a former NASA engineer, and a scientist who advocates for survivors of sexual violence like herself. That's Amanda Wynn, who made this flight a healing experience with a very personal zero-gravity indicator.
I ended up bringing it and floating it, and it's the hospital band from the day.
And Katy Perry did sing in space, choosing a little bit of What a Wonderful World.
I didn't pick one of my songs because, again, it's not about me. It's about the collective, and it's about the view that we get to see, that we're humbled by, and how wonderful our world is.
The women say they hope their moment in space will inspire others to dream big. Karen Hua, CBS News, Van Horn, Texas.
And we watched the historic launch with Gayle's sister, niece, and some students here in South Florida. See their reaction coming up at 5. And that's the CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'm Naja Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami, and have a great day.